So, I'm going to talk about safety and how I think about it. I'll have to go back to college to bring out the seed of this, so to speak, because back then I wanted a motorcycle, and my father was dead against it because it was not safe. After a lot of pestering, he gave in. Turns out my mother told him, घर पे बैठे बैठे अगर पंखा गिर गया सर पे तो क्या करोगे? She said it was their job to prepare me, not protect me. So a motorcycle happened. Of course, I had my spills, but came through. What I want to talk about now is how I think about safety. And I believe that I come with a lifetime quota of different things. Like there's a quota for sleep, which I think I used extensively when I was in college. And there's the quota for luck, which also translates to safety when we are talking about driving or riding. This quota can be depleted, maintained, but building it back up is very difficult. So I treat my driving very seriously. Sometimes it feels strange to people, but why not? Would you be okay with flying in an airplane that has a pilot who's only gotten his driver's flying license after only maybe half an hour of a test? I'm guessing not, right? So why not the same for driving? Getting a driving license in half an hour gives you the permit to drive. But does that mean you do not need to put in the effort and care, build that consideration to drive safely on the road? Because think about it, if you don't need to do it, nobody else needs to either, right? Which means this is like a whole bunch of loose handguns roaming around in the world, and a car is nothing more than a very powerful but blunt weapon if in the wrong hands. So there's a lot that you and I can do to keep ourselves safe, to maintain that quota of luck, build it up even if possible. And it's really simple things. These are the things that I follow, ask my family to follow. So the real basics, buckle up. Sounds stupid, but without that, you don't have the protection of airbags. Take care of your car. Boring, right? But correct tire pressures, headlamps that work, windscreens that are clean, those are lifesavers. You may not think about it. Cuts out fatigue. And when it comes to actually driving, I'm going to give you a small story. There was this one time I was driving from Chandigarh to Rajouri. I was following one of our national motorsport legends, Hari Singh. He was on a kind of like a vacation with friends, and there were a whole bunch of kids. All the kids, by their families, were packed into his car, right? It wasn't the best car in the pack. There were other big SUVs, more powerful ones, but they were all packed into his car. And I followed him all the way up to Rajouri. And try as I might, I couldn't really keep up. And at no point did the car look hurried, rushed, or seem like it was being driven around rashly. His years of experience, we can't gain in a day, night, or even a few years. But the point is, very simple lesson here for you and I, right? At any given point, if you feel busy and you feel you're doing a lot of work, drop the pace down. Because when you drive smooth, you drive safe and you'll be faster too. It's a simple little thing for us to follow. And you can keep that in mind, irrespective of whether you're a new driver or an old driver. And as for newer drivers, I would like to say that however you may have gained your experience, passed your test, you can always build upon it. Experience can only be gained by spending time. So take the time out to drive more in a place, in a time where you have the peace of mind to focus on the driving. Doing these small things can go a long way in maintaining that quota of luck. And trust me, being serious about this is no bad thing. We all need to do our part. Now, we come to the difficult part, crash tests, right? Crash tests have become synonymous with safety. And to me, that is a bit scary. Features for safety have also become the de facto conversation people have about safer cars, right? They are all great. They are all working in the right direction. They are making vehicles safer. They're making our roads safer. But what I have an issue with is people thinking that that is their first line of defense. It's not. Our job as drivers in the car is to prevent an accident in the first place. And that is not down to the car, that is down to us. Most studies will show you that the biggest reason for accidents is the driver, right? So that responsibility lies on us. And when it comes to crash tests, keep in mind that the 5-star rated cars today are safer by far than anything else that you would have driven before. But what does it really mean? That 64-hour crash test means that in the real world, it's a crash with another car which is of the same weight up to a speed of 55 kilometers an hour. Not more. Not more than 50% overlap. So understand these limitations, drive accordingly. Do not exhaust your quota of luck with this blindness. Read into what those ratings mean and drive accordingly. This should not spur you to behave rashly. You should take that additional buffer. This is an easy way to build that quota of luck that you have getting safer cars, but maintain it then. Don't eat into it, right? So I don't believe that I am superhuman, and I don't think you would be either. So know your limitations, know your vehicle's limitations. How far the light goes, how far it lights up the road will tell you how fast you can drive in the night. If it's raining, it further changes that equation. Drive accordingly. Know how fast your reflexes are, how good a driver you are, how good your car is. Have you taken care of it? All these things will add up, and all these things will matter. In the end, at the end of the day, whether you're driving a new car, old car, the best car with 6 airbags or not, can't help you every time. What happens in the lab test and what happens in the real world are two very different things. It doesn't have to be it. What happens on the road doesn't always have to follow what happens in the lab. So at the end of it, all I'm going to say is this: on a motorcycle, I ride like my life depends on it, and I bring the same thought to when I'm driving cars. And I think so should you.